Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to jump in there and give you a few thoughts about the Premier League coming through and a few other things, and not going to hold back. And at the end of this show, that highlight reel that you're getting right now, we'll put it on the end of the show so you get to see it on computer-sized fashion. So you're going to get it now as I give you a little brief and a welcome to the Premier League. And you'll also get it on the tail end of the show so you can see it as you would do on your tablet, your laptop, or even indeed your desktop or other means as well. So, welcome to Soccer Steve, Ultimate Soccer Show. Let's get it on. Welcome in, everybody. Like I say, start the season, things are coming on. There are the scores on the doors. This is what I'm thinking for this weekend and game week 1. Have a look at that. Tell me what you think. Hey, you know what? Stimulates thoughts. Tell me your scores down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Big up to the subscribers. Lots of love. And hey, spread it around. It's not about me, it's about us. Let's build something. No subscriber fee, no subscription. Just join in when you want to and catch up with what I'm about. I touch all the leagues. That's the big 5 Euro leagues. Premier League, Serie A, Liga 1, Bundesliga, La Liga. I touch them all, and hey, you know what? If you love the big Euro leagues, let me know. I'll tell you, I'll touch them too. Wearing the England shirt tonight, just because it's the Premier League that's kicking off, and there's some of the thoughts what we're going through here in this region here. As you saw that red light, well, you know what? Them 3 at the bottom. Watford, Norwich and Brentford. We're going to be talking about them a little bit. I think them guys are really under the 8 ball. But there's 5 clubs above them that could be in danger. And I call that the fate of the 8. Yes, the fate of the 8. You see, Burnley, Southampton, Palace, Newcastle, Brighton. Yeah, Burnley, Newcastle, Palace, Southampton, Brighton. All those clubs, to me, if a club in the bottom 3 survives, it's because one of those 5 clubs above them had a terrible season. There's reasons to believe that a few of those clubs might have a bad season. The first thing is they can't score goals. If you can't get more than 50 or 60 goals in a season, you're not going to really have an easy job surviving. So anyway, the fate of the 8, that's what we're talking about. Now, relegation is pretty simple. Watford, Norwich, Brentford, the new kids on the block. Those are the guys that you really seem to think that are going to go down, and you should do too. Everybody else is a Premier League club, got Premier League players, even Premier League bench and Premier League squad players. The squad players in the Premier League teams mostly are at a higher calibre than most Championship teams. That's why they're in the Premier League. And them squad players, they're earning big money for doing nothing. Nothing. They're sitting there taking big money, doing nothing. Look at a few players when you can, how many times they play and what they get paid to sit and just be a squad player. However, Premier League clubs need squad players readily that are going to be really sort of accepting their fate that you're going to sit. And that's what it's about. They're going to sit, they're going to really bolster the squad. Should somebody get an injury, that's the backup. So you've got to have players that will sacrifice themselves for the betterment of the club. They get paid enough. They know what they're doing. And believe you me, they're not having a tough time. But anyway, back in to you listening in right now. Thank you for joining. It's fantastic to see us. We're still working on a few things. We're getting there. But there's going to be some changes very soon. And we're stepping up with cameras. Cameras are going to be to a higher level. We're also getting the website up very soon. We're not going to release the website to you soon. It's got to be right before we get there. Anyway, back to the football. Relegation. Them 3, those are the guys that should be going down. That's your Watford, your Norwich, and your Brentford. In no particular order. I think Brentford's got something with a good bit of firepower. Excuse me. I think Brentford can score goals. In pre-season, Brentford excites me. Now, Brentford is a team that I could see, if they can get it right up front and get some goals, they could be a team that could survive. Norwich as well is very artistic up front, but should they have a few injuries, It's done. And I don't see that Brentford's has a problem up front. I think Brentford has a problem in defence. And with Norwich, I don't think they have a problem going forward. I think they too have a problem in defence. Watford definitely has a problem in defence. So for me, my money, those three are the guys to go down. If, however, in the 8 and the fate of the 8, should one of those 5 teams suffer, but I think then Brentford has a good chance of getting out of the relegation zone. It's going to be a long season. I think people are going to bob in and out of that bottom 8. But the teams that are obviously going to struggle are Burnley, your Southampton, your Brighton's not going to light it up, Palace are not going to light it up, and Newcastle too. Brighton might be a team that struggles, but might well survive with sheer work rate. Yes, they lost White to Arsenal for 50 million, but at the other side of things, Crystal Palace, their rivals. You know, Patrick Vieira, the new coach, brought a couple of players in, yada, yada, yada. If Zaha got injured and Every's got injured as well, then Palace really hasn't got too much going forward. Palace don't score too many goals. Yes, they've barely got by at the end of the season, but you know what? One of these seasons, Palace is going to be in bad trouble. Will it be this year? I mean, honestly, Palace for me, they've been flying higher, overachieving for a few years. I sometimes worry about Palace being a team that could go down. Drop your thoughts, Palace fans. Are your team going to go down? Are you worried? Do you score enough goals? Hey, Roy Hodgson did a fantastic job. Now it's up to Patrick Vieira. Can he get it done? I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, there's the fate of the 8. The bottom 3, Brentford, Norwich, and, yeah, you know it, Watford, who've been a yo-yo club for quite some time, as is Norwich, a bit of a yo-yo club. Brentford, you don't want to become one. So I'm thinking there's, you know what, I'm not saying put money on Brentford, but boy, I tell you what, if they can get the scoring going as they have been in the pre-season, they could be good. By the way, the shades, hey, I've got lights all around the place. It's pretty bright, you know that. So, moving on. The fate of the 8, you heard what I've got to say. Those 5 clubs above the relegation zone on the map you've seen, they're going to be battling relegation. And if a team or two has a bad day, then like I say, Brentford or Norwich could survive. I think Watford will do well to survive. A real Premier League club of recent years, but not what you would say an ever-present Premier League club. So, Watford, nice to see you. Nice, get out of here. Brentford, Norwich, could be interesting. Should some of the big teams above them in the fate of the 8 falter? Other than that, mid-table, it's boring. It's boring. A lot of these teams are there just to, they're not making up the numbers, but they're really not going to go anywhere. I call it the top 6 because there's 6 big clubs in the Premier League, and that's where it's at for the fame and the glory. Otherwise, these teams in the middle, they're making money, but they're not going anywhere. And you know what? Too bad, but that's just the way it is. That is really just the way it is. Now, that's what I'm saying there. Your top 4, I'm looking at Liverpool in 4th, Chelsea 3rd, Man United 2nd, and Man City 1st. That's what I'm thinking. Leicester's in 5th, Tottenham 6th is what I'm thinking. So, that's what I'm thinking. As the season progresses, we might see things change, so I'll keep you updated. But as we start off, that's what we're looking at. Big thing for Chelsea and the challenge for the championship is Lukaku coming in. If he hits the ground running and starts banging the goals in like you know he can, I think Man City could be in trouble. Because Man City doesn't have an out-and-out striker. Unless, after Harry Kane bangs in a couple of goals against Man City here on the weekend, they sign him for 130 million. Wait for that to happen. But Harry Kane, if you don't go Man City, you better go somewhere, because you are not going to win trophies at Spurs. So you might as well get over to Man City, get off to Man United, or someone who's going to pay the money that's in contention to win a trophy. Wherever that is in the world, Harry Kane, that's where you need to go. Forget about being a one-club player if your club can't win a trophy. End of. I mean, that is the basics. So that's what I'm thinking there. And here, who will be your Golden Boot winner at the end of the season? Is it going to be Chelsea's Lukaku, who, incidentally, a good friend of mine 10 years ago, George is naming, George, the Chelsea fan, we've got tapes of his, which we will release later on this channel. But I talked to George about Lukaku, saying, you know what, you sold this guy, you're going to be buying him back in years to come because he's too good. It's just he didn't mature. He was a late bloomer. Now he's matured, and he was good at Man United, but he's even better at Inter Milan, and now he's back at Chelsea. You're going to see the best of him. Could he score 30 goals? I think that's where he needs to start. I think if, you know what, if you give him the supply line, he's going to put balls in the net. I think 30 goals is not out of the question. He's going to give Harry Kane some competition. So, at the end of the day, Golden Boot winner in the Premier League, is it Harry Kane or is it Lukaku? Or do you see somebody else? Because you know what, the likes of my friend over there at Liverpool, Mo Salah, and Mr. Fernandes over there at Man United, I'm sorry, you got competition that's just too big when it comes to popping the old onion bag.